Puzzles, mechanical puzzles. I love these sort of things. And at a convention in London recently, I attended with 400 delegates and I picked up a few of them, which I'm showing here. This is one of my favourites. You're supposed to make a club, an ace of clubs, from these two very odd shaped pieces. And if you put them together in a certain way and give a little twist, there's the ace of clubs, superbly crafted. And you just do a bit of twisting in the other way, and look how strange they look when they're separated. A bit of 3D printing, and he's got a very witty name for it, the guy who designed it, Scott. Join the club. Nice double entendre. Very clever. So that's a favourite one, I think. This is a very clever idea which came out originally about 30 years ago. Bart Phillips, who I corresponded with, made a marvellous thing called a clinched cube. Two pieces of wood with a nice brass hinge in it. And when you put them together into a cube, they just about work if you get the little jaws together over the top like this. It was quite tricky to do. It took me a long time to get the idea of it. One piece goes over there, one piece goes over there, and then slide them in. Oops, there we are. 30 years later, a friend of mine, Simon Bexfield, decided to have a go with this or design similar. He actually also made a pyramid for the same idea and constructed this out of 3D printing. This is what amazed me about 3D printing. You can turn the wood into plastic, okay, that's fair enough, but what about the brass hinges? No hinges on here, but they are hinged. That's the point of 3D printing. You just make the plastic thin at that particular point, and it's got the flexibility to form a perfectly nice bit of the puzzle which you then have to clinch together in that format. What you end up with is this one here. That's the second one, and it's quite tricky to do. It took me a lot of time, but I'm just amazed at how the development of this product has moved forward in 30 years from something which requires a material and then a hinge, and this requires all just one piece of material. Remarkable 3D printing by Simon Bexfield. Another piece which I got from a Hungarian collector, he started working on matchstick cubes like this one here, where you had to make matchsticks and push them together and you make a cube. You can make a solid one by putting more matches in it, but he wanted to really test himself, and so he made it out of pins, these little tiny pins. He's got some examples of the pins here in this card. There's 464 of the devils. And he puts them all together and they're held together by friction. Astonishing. And his next job, which I have yet to get for my collection, was to put this into a bottle with a very small neck, and he's done the same with a cube. So 465 tiny little pins, all pushed together, held with friction. You can disassemble it quite easily, and then it holds together superbly. And the last piece is a French designer came up with a clock puzzle, which I've yet to solve. But the idea is you put the clock on the table and it bends over like that. But there's a ball bearing inside, and somehow you're supposed to get the ball bearing in a position so that the thing stays upright without my finger holding it. And that's quite tricky. I've yet to solve it, but somewhere there's a passage inside and I've got to make it work, and eventually I'll get it to behave itself. Until that happens, well, I'll keep struggling. Mechanical puzzles, and these are just a few that I managed to find at this wonderful convention.